shot. It is caught for the touchdown. And Mama Love loves it.
And we are off. Welcome to the Fox 6 Sports Blitz, the first Packers Sunday of the year. I'm Brandon Cruz. Tim Van Vorn and Lily Zhao are standing by live at Soldier Field as we will go deep into this game. A big win for the Packers. But here's our starting lineup. The Packers put the beat down on the Bears. The Brewers nearly get a New York no-no. And the Badgers experience some deja vu against Washington State. And we hit the pitch for our high school hotshot.
We knew what type of game we were in for. Obviously, my first game in this rivalry, so it felt good. They're a good team. Obviously, first half was close, and second half, the way we bounced back and came out there in second half and just total domination, felt good.
Of course it felt good, Tim. They had a huge lead in the second half that they never really even got threatened by. What was the difference from the first half to the second half, as Jordan Love definitely claimed it was a tale of two halves?
It was the tale of two halves. He was right about that. I think the difference was the Packers were ahead, and they had a real nice possession out of the locker room that put them further ahead in the second half, and they actually seemed to relax. Jordan Love grew a little more confident as the game went along. He kind of found his groove, and you saw that in the second half. He was making some throws in the second half he was not making in the first, and let's face it, the Packers got a couple of breaks, and they took advantage of those things. So it all added up. It was the tale of two halves. Jordan Love should feel very good about this. Brandon, he said total dominance, total domination. When's the last time Jordan Love could say that? I mean, 2019 at Utah State? When?
I know it is a surprising statement, and he's accurate in this case, but it isn't something I don't think many people expected. And Lily, we knew that Christian Watson was not going to be playing. So Romeo Doubs, who was listed as questionable, clearly had signs that he was going to play. And those two seem to have a very nice connection early on already.
Certainly. I mean, while, the downfield threat wasn't really there without Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, the pseudo #1 wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, certainly did his job. He had the first touchdown of the season on that opening drive for Jordan Love in the offense, and he comes back in the second half with that high-pointed catch at the corner of the end zone. So he played very, very well today for the Packers, and they certainly needed him to as well because, again, when you're down a playmaker like Christian Watson, who is going to step up in that wide receiving core? It was, of course, Romeo Doubs. Also added Jaden Reed. He played a good game as well. You need those guys to step up. They did for Jordan Love, and that certainly builds the confidence of a young quarterback.
And Tim, we look at that, and you could see that Love found comfort and really kind of leaned on Doubs at times. But the guy that he leaned on the most was Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones had 11 touches in this game, only 2 receptions, but those 2 receptions were huge.
No question, and he can scoot, can't he? He still can get it down the field, and he's a very difficult matchup for opposing defenses. The Packers used Jones banging away a little bit. When they needed a tough carry, it was Aaron Jones. When they needed a bunch in the end zone, Aaron Jones. And then, as you said, get him out in the open field, let him run a little bit. I think this will be part of the passing attack all season long. Aaron Jones is one of your best playmakers. Why not find a way, particularly if you're struggling to get down the field to your perimeter players, as you alluded to, Lily. Then you get Aaron Jones matched up against the linebacker. He's going to win those matchups. I thought the Packer offense really did a nice job today, particularly pulling away, but the coaching staff and the execution, and they protected Jordan Love too. We haven't talked about the offensive line really all day, but they did their job.
Yeah, Tim, I was going to go there next because one of the things that happens in a game like this, you don't talk about the offensive line because you had all these other offensive moments, and Jordan Love was only sacked once. That offensive line was very unheralded, but boy, did they do a good job, right, Lily?
Certainly did. Again, only just 1 sack, though, but Jordan Love had time to throw in the pocket. He was protected. I know he had a couple scrambles where he said he wanted to kind of truck a guy, but his agent said, no, don't do that. So they certainly did their job. They were able to get Aaron Jones some running lanes as well. So they did a very, very good job just protecting their young quarterback. And again, on the other side of the football, it was kind of a tale of 2 different teams in that aspect. The Packers certainly won the trenches, and that was a big key in their victory today.
And now let's go to the other side of the ball for the Packers, Tim. This defensive front really seemed to put pressure on Justin Fields, especially in the second half as the offense was starting to pull away for them.
You're right. The Bears didn't really demonstrate that they could move it down the field, so I think the defense turned up then for Green Bay, and it really kind of built upon itself. Rotation system on that defensive line, rotation system at edge rusher. Boy, I thought you noticed that freshness. You're talking about young players here. They have enthusiasm. They know they're only going to get so many snaps. They better make something happen in those snaps. It's not just, well, I'm going to be out there for 40 snaps anyway. No, I definitely think you notice the benefits of using a rotation system at those positions.
And Lily, with that rotation breeds competitiveness and a competition between these guys, and it feels like these guys are feeding off one another, trying to show that, hey, I want more time instead of you, and no, I want more time instead of you, and it seems to be, at least in this game, for 60 minutes, a big positive.
Certainly. I mean, it's a great problem to have, right, for Joe Barry in that defense, is to say, we have so many guys that are good at their position and they want to play, they want to be on the field. How do we all get them equal playing time? And those guys certainly showed up today. Devontae Wyatt, Carl Brooks, Colby Wooden, those guys along the defensive line, outside of Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary, those guys who normally make those plays. You see those younger names pop up on the stat sheet, and that's certainly what you want, right? You want to have the ability to be versatile with your guys on the line to just create havoc. And they certainly flustered Justin Fields all game long. There was a play I saw that was Devontae Wyatt just keying in on Justin Fields. He did a run fake, didn't even keep his eyes off of Justin Fields, and just tackled him for a loss. That's what you want to see from these young guys, and they certainly delivered tonight.
And we talk about this every week. I mean, last year it was very hard to find a complete game. But overall, there were mistakes, but this was a complete team effort. And Tim, the special teams, they did their job every time they were asked to.
I think you're exactly right, Brent. I think you're wise to bring it up. The rookie kicker, the rookie punter, they did their jobs. The returns, they were definitely in an advantage position over the Bears. Eric Wilson hustling down on a kick play. Josiah DeGuara hustling down on a kick play. Starters used in kick coverage. I definitely thought that showed up out there as well. So the Packers are serious about getting something done on the special teams this year, and it made a difference in this game.
It sure did. They win 38-20, and they now get ready for the Falcons after flying home tonight. Well, it's halftime, and that means it's time for the FOX6 Blitz Instapoll. You can go directly to the question right now by scanning this code, or just go to our website, fox6now.com. Who would you give the game ball to after the Packers' 38-20 win? Romeo Doubs, Aaron Jones, Jordan Love, or Quay Walker? We're looking for your answers. We'll give you the results throughout the show, and we'll have the totals at the end of the show.
We got to turn the page. That's, you lost. We played a good series, played a good game today. We just, we didn't. Ultimately, there's 1,000 points you can look at in the game. A lot of points you can look at in the game with which we could have got a run home or prevented a run. But it was a good baseball game, and we came out on the wrong side.
Boy, did they come out on the wrong side, guys. They lose to the Yankees 4-3 in 13 innings. But get this, they have a no-hitter through 11 innings, and yet their offense can't score. Most teams might look at this as a breaking point, something that could really cause trouble as you move forward down to the final stretch here of the season. But the Brewers, they don't seem to be handling it in a bad way. How do you think this team is going to respond when they get home to face Miami after such a difficult loss today in New York? Tim?
Paging Harvey Haddix. Paging Harvey Haddix. I think it's a springboard more than a setback, Brandon. I think it's a springboard for this team. They have responded extremely well in situations like this. They did play a good game. Craig Counsell's right. They played a very good series. They played a very good game. They didn't win it. Okay, they're in supreme position right now. They're getting closer and closer to the finish line. They're going to win this division if they can preserve what they're doing now. I think they use this as a step forward. The one concern is how many arms have been used in the bullpen as you get deeper and deeper, but they've been able to preserve that a little bit. I don't look at this as something that's going to be a stumbling block.
Lily, when you see that the series starts in New York and they're only 2 games up on the Cubs, they come home, they're now 3 games. So was this a positive weekend overall, or is this still something that we think might go all the way to that final series when the Cubs come to American Family Field?
Oh, it's going to be tough, Brandon, because, again, the Cubs, I mean, they kind of give you hope that, we're going to drop a couple games to the Diamondbacks, but, we're going to, avoid getting swept by Arizona. So this could very well come down to maybe that regular season finale at American Family Field. But you have to believe the Brewers have their eyes just set on the prize. Just keep on winning, keep focusing on ourselves, and we'll be just fine because, again, they have a 3-game cushion. Like Tim mentioned, though, it's just how do you utilize those arms down the stretch? Because, again, a lot of guys have gotten a lot of action moving forward, but that's kind of what you need out of this Brewers team. But again, I think it was a very successful weekend overall, despite the loss today, which I know this team really, really wanted to get the win, but a successful weekend. They come back home, starting a 7-game set at AmFam, starting with the Marlins for 4 games. They're in a prime position right now. They just have to capitalize and build more room there in the NL Central.
And Tim, what do you say about how this offense has really turned it on? Since August 1st, they are unbelievable in scoring runs. They have so many innings with multiple runs scored, one of the best in baseball since August 1st. What has been the difference, do you think, for that to have happened and to have vaulted them into this position this late in the season?
They've really decided on who they're playing. It's almost the same lineup every night. Mark Canha has obviously stepped up, a guy who was kind of drifting around when they first got him. He's definitely brought things up, and he's not alone. Willie Adames has come along. Some of these players that you're waiting for have sprung it in there, and so you just see longer at-bats, more pitches seen, longer innings because of that, and then eventually you get a breakthrough. I think that's what it is, Brandon. I think that the regular lineup, these guys know they're going to be in there, and to the detriment of some other players who are not playing at all, but this is what the Brewers are riding right now.
And some of the players that are seeing a significant amount of playing time are very young. Rookies like Sal Frelick and Monasterio at third base. So, Lily, with those guys playing key innings and key roles, is this something where the pressure might get too big as we get closer and closer to trying to win a division title? Or are these guys just gamers that we've seen, like a catch today from Sal Frelick to keep the no-hitter going, that this is just guys playing baseball and they're having fun?
I think it's the latter, and first of all, that catch by Sal Frelick was simply phenomenal. I mean, that was an amazing catch, but I think it's the latter. I think it's certainly guys that are just gamers, and the good thing is that they're getting these game reps still in the regular season. They're not going to be kind of stunned by any sort of bright lights or big games because they've played in some really, really big games and close ones, and they've won it, and they've all contributed at the plate or defensively as well, and you see these guys just able to kind of just get on base any way they can, make some big plays on defense as well, and that's what you want from these young players. I mean, you have guys like Brian Anderson who, is not playing. You have Andrew Monasterio playing instead. But again, it's valuable for these young guys to get those game reps. That's what they're doing right now. And Craig Counsell, he's going to ride the hot hands, and those guys certainly are.
All right, well, they do come back home, so they don't have a break for quite a while as Miami comes to town tomorrow. Well, get this. Greenfield native and former high school hotshot Tyler Hero is spending his offseason mingling with his fans. One of them had no intention of hiding his enthusiasm for the Miami Heat guard.
The reality is we have enough talent to win, and we can play well enough to win, and I don't think that anything should hold us back. We just have got to find ways to do better jobs of putting our guys into situations where they can be successful.
But it was the Cougars knocking off the Badgers in Pullman last night, 31-22. Lily, you saw this team in person in week 1. Last night on the road, it didn't seem like they used their running backs very often. Yes, they got down big early, but is that a concern that they weren't going to their strength to try to get back into this game?
Yeah, certainly. And like you mentioned it, they were down early, so you're kind of going to rely on Tanner Mordecai and his arm. But the running backs were kind of held in check. And then the unfortunate part was towards the end where they were trying to make a comeback. Ches Malusi fumbles a football, whether or not, there was a controversial call, whether or not it was a fumble or not. But he fumbles a football. Then Washington State scores the go-ahead touchdown, and that was game. But you have to think that the strength still of this team is their running backs with Malusi and Braylon Allen, and those guys were relatively held in check against Washington State. And when that happened, they're relying on Tanner Mordecai's arm, and they did just enough to make a comeback, but it was not enough because of the turnovers, but you have to think moving forward, relying on that ground game is going to be the winning formula for this Badgers team this season.
And Tim, the defense really had trouble trying to control Cam Ward, the quarterback of the Cougars. Does this look like it could be a potential problem as they move forward in their schedule with a quarterback that can throw and run?
I don't think the defense was awesome against Buffalo in the first game. So, yes, I think this is something they're going to have to shore up. And now I think big picture, Brandon, last year when the air went out of the balloon against the Washington State team, everything just deflated from there and the season collapsed. Luke Fickell, certainly different situation, but you want to see how this Badger team responds.
And they have Georgia Southern coming up. Guys, thanks so much. Let's check in on our Insta poll question. You can go directly to it right now by scanning this code, or like I said before, go to our website, fox6now.com. Who would you give to the game? Who would you give the game ball to after this one? Many of you saying Jordan Love right now. Aaron Jones getting a number of votes as well. We'll have more of your results as we come back. Coming up, we have your high school hotshot. And we're back here on the Fox 6 Sports Blitz. He's a two-sport athlete, even finding a job connected to those sports and involved in numerous school clubs. Here's this week's high school hotshot.
Hi, my name is Wesley Pritzloff. I'm a senior here at Rufus King High School, and I'm the captain of the soccer team. I've played club since I was 8 years old now. Soccer since I was 4. You know, it's been a while I've been playing soccer, and the same thing with baseball as I am a dual sport athlete. Varsity happened my junior year, actually, because sophomore year I ended up playing JV, and we had an undefeated season, actually. And it was actually a lot of these guys on this varsity team now, so it's really cool to go through the system with them, both JV and varsity, and now we're playing at a high level together. I've been playing goalie since 6. You know how it is at those younger recreational ages. Everyone plays everywhere, and it just kind of fits in. And, you know, goalkeeper was the spot for me. So I stayed at 6, and I'm still at goalie now. It's just something about that thrill. When you're setting that wall, you get the adrenaline build up, and you're like, okay, I got to make this save for my team. When you make that save, it's just, there's something really fulfilling about that. Baseball, I'm the utility guy, so they put me anywhere on the field. I played a lot of outfield this year. I've played infield, shortstop, first base, third base. Yeah, I'm a utility guy. They put me where I need, and I do the job. I work for the Milwaukee Milkmen in the summer, and then I also work for the Milwaukee Wave. I'm usually in the back wrapping hot dogs or doing concessions, but you know, you still get to watch the game and enjoy the baseball environment. I think it's great that I was able to find a job where, you know, I'm obviously getting paid to do responsible work and hard work, but baseball and soccer at the Milkmen and at the Wave is just perfect. I'm in National Honor Society. I'm also in Link Crew, and then I'm also in Cooking Club, Asian Club, and Latinos Unidos. One thing really cool about King is we have so many clubs. So you can just join until you find that thing you really like, or you just join all of them like I'm in. And you have fun in each and every one. Wesley Pritzloff, senior here at Rufus King High School, all-conference goalkeeper and honorable mention baseball utility player. And on this week's Fox 6 High School Hotshot.
Now, Wes hopes to continue playing soccer after graduation, but first, the team has sights on another city championship. They're currently undefeated in conference play. On the football field, it was another hard-hitting night of the Fox 6 High School Blitz. This is our play of the week. Catholic Memorial's MJ Mitchell connecting with Matt McCloskey. What a block by Marvanus Butler to get his teammate into the end zone. And we are officially at the midway point of the regular season. So here's the lineup for Week 5. Our game of the week features Racine Park. At Racine Case, Lily Zhao will be there. And if you recognize your team's helmet, we will be at that game on Friday. A look at the week ahead is next. And you're giving the game ball to Jordan Love. Maybe you're having Aaron Jones give it to him because that is a tight vote. Well, the Packers head to the Falcons on Sunday. You can see the game right here on Fox 6. We'll follow that with a special edition of Fox 6 News with live reaction from Atlanta. Now, let's get back to Soldier Field. And, guys, real quick, Lily, what's your takeaway from today's game? And, Tim, what are you looking for in the week ahead as they get ready for the Falcons?
The takeaway for me is the ceiling is high for this Packers team, and they're good in all three phases so far.
I'm looking at the injury report. What's Watson's status? What's Aaron Jones' status? What's Quay Walker's status? What's Jaden Reed's status?
All right, guys, thank you very much. What a great night from Soldier Field. Packers win 38-20. We'll see you next week.